Hey guys, this is Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, the mayor of Britsburg, and you're listening to Wrestling Cheers Podcast.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You want to go where you can see that troubles are all the same. You want to go where everybody knows your name. You want to go where you can see that troubles are all the same. You want to go where everybody knows your name.
And welcome back to Wrestling Cheers, where everybody knows your name, even if you are drunk behind the bar at the show. This is Wrestling Cheers, where we like to talk about all things going on in the Northeast Ohio independent wrestling scene. We preview shows, we review shows, and sometimes we even have interviews along the way. I am your host. I am Heavyset. This is a review show, as we will be reviewing AIW's WrestleRager 3. Before we get into anything about that show, we are brought to you by the Trending Topics Network and NEO Sports Insiders. Please rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Podbean, WrestlingCheers.podbean.com. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, Facebook.com/WrestlingCheers, Twitter.com/WrestlingCheers, and Instagram.com/WrestlingCheers. Email, if you so choose, a desire, WrestlingCheers@gmail.com. We have a merch store over at whatamaneuver.net. Grab yourself a Fight Kayden fight shirt or a Wrestling Cheers logo shirt or whatever clothing variants that they have there. And also, the day that this comes out, you only have the rest of today and tomorrow, all of tomorrow, to enter in the Apple Podcast and Facebook reviews mystery giveaway. I will be announcing not only who's going to win. On Saturday, I'll pull the name and also announce what the actual prize is. And it's pretty interesting, and there's a little bit of story to it all. So be on the lookout for that this coming weekend. Or we'll also I'll talk about it next week on the podcast. Anyway, let's get into this show. Like I said, we got AIW's WrestleRager 3 to talk about. And of course, I'm not alone when it comes to these shows. First up, we have Fight Kayden Fight himself, Kayden Ranky.
Hello. So
this was your last show for a while. Like, that is official now.
Correct.
And you're going to be gone to, just kind of go over just one more time, like it's up to a year.
Up to a year of recovery time after this transplant. Hopefully less, all depending on how things go.
And obviously, since, this is going on with Kayden, we are obviously keeping him on Wrestling Cheers, but he'll probably do less review shows from here on out and probably more preview shows.
Assuming the shows are out in time.
Yeah, that'll be, most of the time, yes. And you're a very quick watcher, and you'll have plenty of time to watch him. So I almost have a feeling, I don't want to necessarily have you on every preview show because I don't want to have you get tired of it, but you will be on preview shows a lot going forward. And also on this episode, we have the return of ThriftStoreJobber.
Hey, Justin, everybody. Thanks for having me back.
And the funny thing about this is you put your claim on this episode when the AIW review, not the AIW, the Absolution review got released.
Well, I knew this was going to be a special show, obviously for reasons we'll get into later. But I really had a great time last year. I was really looking forward to this show, and it definitely delivered. So I figured I wanted to put my name in to get to be the one to review it with you. So psyched to be here.
That was the fun thing of, we did the Absolution review with, Patrick and Rick. Like, you DM me immediately saying, like, I'm putting claim on being on the WrestleRager 3 review show. I'm like, all right, that's good. I like when I don't have to look for people or ask around or who wants to be on. Just someone just says, before we even do the preview show, before all the matches announced, I want to be on it. Okay, cool. You're not going to get a fight out of me.
yeah, I'm sure this will happen again.
Oh God! Even with AIW, there's a lot to talk about. Before we actually get into that, let's. I want to mention an email that we all got, and that is the Rubber City Comic Con, which is going to take place. Which I'm really excited about this because it's going to be in Akron, Rubber City WrestleCon. My bad, not Comic Con. Tomato. And it's going to be featuring WWE Hall of Famer Kevin Nash. That'll be not September. Long night for me. Saturday, November 3rd, back at the Tadmor Shrine in Akron. Kayden, are you devastated about this, or are you like, it's okay?
Nah, I'm not as bummed because I've seen Nash, the announced guest, a couple times before, so not as big of a deal to me. It's cool it's happening, don't get me wrong.
Yeah. Rating 1 out of 10 of disappointment, 10 being really disappointed, 1 being not disappointed. Where do you rank?
Probably about a 3.
Okay.
Just because this is like an all-day thing, and it seems like it's going to be a blast either way.
Yeah. Tickets are already on sale for people who are part of the AIW mailing list. I don't know when those go public. Doors open at 3:30, conventions at 4, and the actual show will be at 7:30. Front row tickets are $40. General admission are $25. The only name we know of right now is Kevin Nash, and I've heard there's going to be a couple other bigger names, maybe not Nash level, but decent names to be on the show. That's all that I know about it. I'm excited about this, which probably means for this episode where we review it, it'll probably be at the after party again. So be on the lookout for that if there is an after party. I don't know if we go back to the same place, please, because that place the music wasn't too loud. We were able to record and everything, and I thought it was pretty fun. So if you come out to this and there is an after party, stop on by this. That'll be a very, very fun show. But I wanted to talk about that because we're not even, we're about not even 2 months away. And after WrestleRager 3, this gets announced. We still have Escape from Cleveland, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's an October show. So there's plenty between now and then. So how about you, Jobber? How you feeling about that show?
I'm definitely excited. I really liked Tadmor Shrine the last time AIW was there. I did talk to Thorne about the rest of the card at the bar on Saturday, but unfortunately I don't remember most of the names, and I'll keep the other name that I know secret for now. But no, I'm interested to see how this is going to go. I'm definitely going to be going and setting up a table there, and hopefully I'll have at least a new shirt out by then. But yeah, I'm definitely excited for it. And then, all the other stuff coming up with AIW, I will be attending the GCW show in Chicago the first or second weekend of September, which I'm super, super excited about. So I'll get to see Nick Gage, twice in about a week.
I really want to go to GCW, especially after the Lost in New York show, especially after, Marco Stunt's now booked there. But I think the day, because isn't that what day is that show?
It's Saturday 8th.
Oh, it's a Saturday? What day? Date?
The 8th. Yeah. Yeah, it's. I mean, this is my first opportunity to see them. Now that Mike from Virtual Pros is out in Chicago, I got a place to stay, and I haven't really gone on too many good wrestling trips this year. So this will be my first one actually in a long time, and super excited about it. I mean, I've definitely gotten the bloodlust the last couple years from seeing a little bit of deathmatch stuff that I have seen. So to see this tournament, I'm super, super excited. Definitely not sitting front row for this. I know Mike and I will be pretty far back to try to avoid any sort of shrapnel or blood that gets thrown our way, but super, super excited.
Not sitting front row for a deathmatch tournament? What are you doing?
Dude, like I said, man, I don't want to get, glass and shit in my drinks and blood all over me. It's AIW is fine because not as much of that stuff happens, but I feel like every match, is going to be a barrage of that stuff. And I'm good.
Prepare yourself.
I can't wait.
Prepare yourself. That's all I'm going to say.
Mm-hmm.
I know when it comes to wrestling road trips, one that I haven't talked about on the show, but it's something I do want to do, is eventually I want to get a group of people. It'll probably be multiple cars if we can get enough people. A really there and back trip to Southern Underground Pro in Nashville. Like pretty much get up early, drive straight down. It's about an 8-hour trip depending on, where you're at. Then their show and then maybe turn around, come back. Worst case scenario, find some place to crash there in Nashville. I don't want to pay for a hotel, but if someone like who lived down there was like, yeah, like you can crash, that's fine. But other than that, like turn around, come back. I really want to do that.
At this point, man, you could probably find an Airbnb or something for like $100 a night if you get a van full of people and split it. Just do that. 8 hours there and back. I'm too fucking old to do that, man. It's when I was a kid, I could handle drives like that, but no way. If I'm seeing a show like that, I gotta crash.
I could probably drive back, but there's somewhere in Kentucky, probably between Louisville and Cincinnati, I'll probably get tired.
Yeah, man, 8 hours in a night is fucking long. Like, pretty much if I'm doing a round trip in one night, 3 hours is my limit. I spent a lot of time growing up in upstate New York, driving to like Boston and New York City for shows.
Yeah.
And yeah, 3 hours, that's about my limit. If you're going to be coming home from a show at midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning, I don't want to drive 8 hours through the night.
And then Kayden can't drive, so he don't have much to say.
Can't drive yet. Give me some credit.
Okay, can't drive yet.
Plan on driving.
I would say I've heard other people say that, but I'm not going to get into that.
It's another story.
Let's get into WrestleRager 3. And let's, start at the beginning where we actually had a special guest, cameraman, Eddie Kingston. I thought that was a fun little touch to the show. Anybody pay attention how long he was doing it for?
At least the first 2 matches. But that's kind of when I faded out.
It was a good length of time. I'm not sure. It might have been the first 2 matches because I was just more paying attention to the matches.
Yeah, it was the same thing with me. Like I caught it at the beginning, caught it through the entrances, and then I know at some point Gary was still like, "Give me my camera back," and Eddie was like, "No, fuck you, I'm still doing this." And then eventually, I think he got his camera back, but I just don't remember when. And it was because a lot of the action and all that kind of fun shit. So we did start off the show with Ryder Reed versus Rex Brody versus AJ Gray versus Gringo Loco versus Spider-Nate Webb versus making his return, Brian Carson. Fun part about this match that I did enjoy was getting to chop Brian Carson again. My bad that I aimed a little bit too low and got a little bit more stomach than chest.
Learn how to chop.
But my hand hurt afterwards. Is that good?
All right, yeah.
Carson deserves all the pain he can get.
Like, I think if you see the picture of his chest afterwards, mine might be the darkest. I threw everything into it.
Oh, you should be proud of yourself.
It just felt bad to see that, right as I did, I was like, that was a little too low. But then again, I'm not a trained professional. Don't try this at home.
Don't chop people.
This is, I think, where I expected us to start. To start with this type of match, with these type of participants. And one little note that I did hear people around us say, because we were actually all in the same kind of area. We were in
which was nice.
The corner by the building and the fence. But yeah, Ryder Reed is changing it up a bit. And my defense for him is he really didn't have much to work with to begin with. Because someone was like, oh, he's supposed to be a heel. Why is he doing that? And I'm like, because he's had 2 matches at AIW. And he said, maybe that doesn't work. Let me try this. And we noticed, so I think that's a kind of a good thing. What did you guys think of the new Ryder Reed?
I liked it. It's a change. Something different. No one else on the roster does it.
Yeah.
I'm still a little unfamiliar with it. I've only seen his 2 AIW matches now. He needs to do something with his hair, though. His hair looked kind of fucked up, so fix that. Everything
I think is definitely a process. I've looked, just look at some of the other wrestlers when they first start out, and just they get more and more bit by bit. Maybe the hair is the next thing he works with, but I think even before Kayden, you'll probably correct me if I'm wrong. Like, this was his first match in AIW where he's actually did more with his facial hair. Like, he actually let it grow out, and I think that was one little difference.
Correct.
Okay.
I think before it was shaved head and just...
So, yeah, I think it was something like that. So, I watch
a lot of wrestling. Excuse me for forgetting.
It's fine. You still remember more than I do. So that I know is something that stood out to me. One match in, it's something I like. I hope he does continue to make tweaks and continues to work on it. What else, like, for you guys, like, really stuck to you about this match that you can remember?
AJ Gray giving Ryder a disgusting headbutt followed with a clothesline. It was also kind of gross.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was not fun.
I almost feel like that was AJ Gray being AJ Gray, though.
It was gross either way.
Oh, yeah. What about you, John?
I was glad Spider Nate Webb cut back to only one play of Teenage Dirtbag for his entrance. That's good. Trimming it down. Got to share some time with everybody, so that was good. Overall, it was a good match. I don't have any like specific notes or anything like that. It was both good and bad to see Brian Carson back. I do not love anyone trying to fake the heart gimmick. So that's my issue with Carson, but he's actually, he's all right. But I was glad to see him come back. I know he was hurt for a while, so that was good. It was nice, slightly chaotic opening match, but it's kind of what you wanted for a show like this.
I'm hoping we start to see more of Carson on the mic. That's not something we've seen as much before. And obviously, since, he had his last AIW match, he's done a lot of commentary work. And which has been very, very good. Yeah, I've heard nothing but great reviews. And I think it's kind of a, consolation prize if, wrestling doesn't happen to work out for him. If there ever seems to be an issue, commentary seems to be... He's got commentary. Yeah, he's right there. Yeah, he's got that on his resume. But maybe this can also transition into wrestling for him. Maybe we can see more Brian Carson promos. I don't... Kayden, since you watch more DVDs than most of us, or the, whatever you want to call it, the actual full shows, if has there any been a disconnect between him and DCR? He has been doing commentary on DCR's matches, if I'm correct. But has he, he's kind of turned on him in a way on commentary. Okay. Because I'm wondering if this is just something that we're supposed to forget about. And, obviously, Dr. Dan has moved on in his own direction. Maybe, Carson, is left to go, okay, I'm going to still do my own thing, but I'm going to be me. So that's something. Keep it in mind, though, because I don't think that's done with. Yeah. Nothing's, well, anything can fucking happen, but. Especially in AIW. Yeah. I'm curious to see where we're going to go with that, because I do like what Carson has done, and if he's as good on commentary, like, maybe he can throw that into promos. Maybe that can be an in-ring promo during a match, like something like that, and really invest more people into Brian Carson, because we all know some people that hate Brian Carson. I mean, I definitely don't love him, but he's not Duke level with me or anything. We need the thrift store jobber levels of heat of like people you hate. But I think like Duke's number one. I think that's it. I wonder if is there anybody else that like ranks with you? Carson's probably one of the next one. Oh, how could I forget Lewis Linden? Lewis Linden is definitely number 2 for me. Then maybe disappointed. I think. Listen, man, Lewis Linden. I don't even want to get into Lewis Linden right now. It's too early in the podcast. I'm disappointed. Listen, Kayden, let's agree to disagree here. We got too much more to talk about. Yeah, I don't know. I do enjoy Lewis Linden, but I don't know. Maybe it's because I've been a fan longer. I mean, I'll take you guys on in a 2-on-1 battle here, but I think we should move on. I mean, I'm not going to hardcore defend the guy, because I could see the other side of it for people who like came in within the past couple years. But I don't know, because like I've known him about as long as I've been going to independent wrestling shows. He might have been. I think he was at my first show. Let me at least give him this. There was someone that resembled Lewis Linden quite a bit at the old wrestling show on Sunday, and actually enjoyed their performance. But
yeah, the captain of the ship can fuck off.
All right. Well, Gringo Loco won via Swanton. Yeah, we were talking about the big 6-man match to begin with, but yeah, that was that. Next up, we had Alley Cat versus Britt Baker. Side note about Alley Cat, it does suck. She broke her pinky in this match.
Out of everything to break.
Yeah, it sucks because that also meant she couldn't be a part of the big old wrestling show because I was really looking forward to seeing her and do that. But yeah, that really, really sucks about her. Main thing that I have to mention about this match is I did mention last week on the show about cat toys. I wanted people to bring cat toys. I wanted us all to throw in cat toys instead of, streamers, toilet paper, bananas. Like, I wanted that to be her version of it. I thought it was going to be so cool. I got to the show late because I had a work thing to do, and from my terminal to now that's class was like a little bit over an hour, and I didn't leave there until 2:30. So I was pushed behind way longer than I wanted to be. So I wasn't able to be a part of passing it out. And that's what I was told people did bring them, but I didn't see anybody with them. Nobody around us had them. She came out, did the announcement. Nobody threw stuff. I was like, what the fuck? Well, it turns out I think they were turned into a tax spot, let's call it, because we've seen this happen before in AIW. One that I do love the most is the Batiri doing it to Veda Scott. Instead of using, obviously, tax, they use bacon bits. For those who don't know, she's a vegan. So it was used the same way Alley Cat used them as attack, as a weapon, but unfortunately for her, she was put into the cat toys, and then she did lose. She did lose via the Rings of Saturn. They're really called the Rings of Saturn, Kate? She doesn't call it the Rings of Pittsburgh?
I haven't been told otherwise.
God, I would hate that name. I would hate that name with a passion. But yeah, this was first time we've seen Britt since March. What did you guys feel about this match?
Kayden, no, you can go first.
It was fun. It was a good follow-up to having the insane scramble, because Britt hasn't been here since
March. Yep.
I had to think about that. And this is Alley Cat's return. Just in front of kind of a different crowd than the usual AIW audience.
Oh, God, yes.
There is regulars there, but there isn't.
Yeah, as a whole, this was a quite different night. I forgot about mentioning that whole aspect. There was still Barkley Nation. We can kind of talk about that when it comes to his match, because, oh, fuck. I did not see that coming. Well, maybe I did, but I didn't actually think it would happen anyway. Jobber, what did you think about this match?
All right, so I'll admit I'm a huge Alley Cat fan. I'm a cat person. I'm sitting here watching my cat drink out of my glass of water right now because he's a shithead. But I really like Alley Cat, and I love the cat toy spot. But other than that, I wasn't a huge fan of this match. I'll let my girlfriend, who made this statement, this pretty much I agree with her. She said it was like she was watching a match in slow-mo or half speed. That's kind of how I felt. Can't say I'm a huge Britt Baker fan, and I kind of thought this would be better, but I'm assuming we're going to see more Alley Cat, so I'll take what I can get.
I think Alley Cat's going to be a regular. If they actually bring back the women's championship, that starts. They're going to wait till you're gone, Kayden. It's going to be announced. That's going to be the October show. It's going to be an all-woman show. It's going to be a new version of Girls' Night Out, and they're going to crown a champion, and you're not going to be there.
After my jokes over the last year about the belt.
But I whenever that does happen, I think she's probably, if she's not champion, she's going to be the first number one contender. I think Alley Cat is really making her presence known in independent wrestling, and with her being not that far from Cleveland, I don't see a reason why she wouldn't be a staple in the women's division if that does eventually become a thing again.
I mean, that's what it seems like. She's already been, what was it, third show with AIW since she started? So
Second.
Second? Okay, well.
But second show within 3 shows, if I'm correct.
Which is impressive.
And seeing how the only one she missed was Absolution, and there was no women's match at Absolution. Do we want to talk about the elephant in the room for this match, the thing that happened post-match, or should we just completely skim over it?
I actually don't. I kind of heard something happened, but
just don't be dumb.
There were.
That.
I'll just sum it up for those who don't know. There was a fan on the outside of the ring, and they kept heckling Britt by saying stuff about Adam Cole. Like, I get it. Trust me, I get it of someone who's heckled stuff. I've said probably the most fucked up shit to Donston, calling him every name in the book. But I don't know. That to me, that was like, why would you heckle using Adam Cole? Like, that's kind of disrespectful.
Just don't be dumb.
Yeah, if you're gonna heckle, like, put some actual thought into it. It's real stupid to just make a dumb comment about whoever someone's dating. Like, that takes no effort, and it's like the biggest mouth breathing WWE fan move to pull some shit like that. So, yeah, if you're gonna make a dig about somebody, make it personal, but not in that way. Put some thought into it. Make it funny. Don't be a fucking idiot.
Yeah. Like, ThriftStoreJobber doesn't like the Duke. I mean, we all know that. But he's never, like, once heckled anything about his cats.
I mean, I love cats. Even someone like the Duke, if he's a cat guy, I gotta respect that part. But,
yeah.
There's lots of things to make fun about the Duke. So
that is true. So, yeah, just don't be that person, and don't act like, oh, it's whatever, I'm allowed to say whatever I want. Because let's face fact, if I said whatever I want to you, you'd probably bitch. Just saying.
Wrestling fans aren't entitled to whatever they want to say.
Yeah.
There's a line.
Unless you're the Duke and you make 6 figures, I'm waiting for someone to fill in the rest.
Just because you're making 6 figures doesn't change the fact 3 inches and he's never got any nuggets.
I think the 0 nuggets is still my favorite part.
It's probably his best Twitter move in a very long time.
Anyway, let's move on to the next match. Dominic Garrini versus TKD Tom Kwando. And Dominic Garrini decides to troll AIW. And it's a theme that I didn't recognize because I don't pay that much attention. I just don't remember it as much. And Dom is a wrestler who is known for changing his theme an awful lot.
Quite a bit.
Yeah. So we see a familiar theme. I believe that's the Regulators. That's a Nate Dogg. And I'm forgetting the other.
Yeah, don't ask me. I have no idea.
Warren G.
Nate Dogg and Warren G.
Yeah, thank you. So out comes Dom. And that's Matt Riddle's music for those who don't know. And if you don't know that history, yeah, please look it up. I'm not getting into it.
Or don't.
Or don't.
Save yourself the time if you really don't want to go get into that. It's dumb.
So he came out and pretty much trolled everybody doing the whole Matt Riddle thing, did a number of his moves in the match, and then, we'll skip to it. Dom won via ref stoppage and a great picture that was taken by Kayden. Yes,
I take the good pictures.
You had a better spot than me.
Really?
It was Dominic Garrini doing the victory, Matt Riddle's victory pose. So, yeah, is Dom supposed to be a heel now, or is it just a move?
No, he's a heel.
Okay.
I will not boo Dom. I like Dom a lot.
When the fuck did that happen? Or is this
Absolution?
Was he
Gave Lawler a low blow?
Yeah, but I don't know. Is this supposed to be Austin and Brett?
That's a good question. Because this is something I didn't catch until he kind of explained it to me.
Uh-huh.
Still don't think he's a heel.
Yeah,
It's weird.
I didn't catch it until, like, this whole thing. I don't know. What are your thoughts on it, Jobber?
I mean, I loved every second of it. I'm a reporter, and I'm obviously a huge Dom fan. And, I don't know. I don't watch as much of the promos and stuff, so I don't know if Dom is really going heel or not, but I support whatever he chooses to do.
it must be something that started, coming out of that match, because going in, my thoughts was it was Dom was the face and that Tom was the heel. I mean, that's how I took the promos. I don't know about you guys.
I don't even know about that, but as far as this match is concerned, I think my idea for the dynamic was Dom was annoyed by what the hell are his initials? TKD? Is that it? No, that's not it.
Yeah, TKD. Well, Tom Kwon Do.
Oh, okay. Maybe he's like just annoyed at this nerdy little dude who just came in, who's like a student, and he wants to kind of like shoo him away. So that's how I saw it. TKD still definitely has a little bit ways to go as far as his confidence in his ring moves and all that, and just his whole package. But Dom was almost like the arrogant, cocky veteran in this match.
Yeah. One thing that I know I've said, but I don't know if I said on the show, that is I'm happy we got this match, because I felt like as soon as, Tom Kwon Do was introduced, the logical matchup as we would see is Dom versus Tom. I mean, Dom versus, Tom Kwon Do.
Dom versus Tom part 2.
The other Tom versus Dom. So, yeah, at least we got it early on, and then maybe somewhere down the line, if Tom Kwon Do really builds his name up, we can see a part 2 of further down the road.
Because this was enjoyable.
Yes.
There's just more that can be done.
Like, they could have came out and broken 100 boards. That's really what I was hoping. I was hoping just a big old demonstration.
As long as he got some more practice since his last match.
Next up was Joshua Bishop versus Zach Thomas versus Derek Director versus PB Smooth, introducing a new theme music.
And Twitter handle.
And, God, yes. PB.
Stop changing your Twitter, PB.
He changes his Twitter and he changes his music all the time. I do like.
Alright, so give it another 6 months.
I do like this one, though. His current one is at PB_ fresh to death. I think the last one was like at _ Mr. Fresh to Death. And I didn't like that his Twitter handle started off with an underscore, but we have Joshua Bishop, who his Twitter handle started off with _ too, but that's just Twitter talk. And yeah, this one makes more sense, because I always think wrestlers in general, if I type in your name when I hit @ I should be able to find you instantly. Even if it's not your handle, like, it still should be able to come up, or there should be something close to it. I think that's where some wrestlers really screw up, because it's something that you're not necessarily thinking about. All right, what are your thoughts on that, Kayden? Because you're big on tagging people in tweets like me.
Yeah, my thing is GIFs.
Yeah.
9 out of 10 times, I'm not going to find someone's Twitter handle if there's like an underscore or something. I have to go and search for their name. Just make your Twitter handles not complicated, please.
Ironically enough, that's something that I was working on for this show, or whenever we reran it from the Ohio Indie Report to Wrestling Cheers. I wanted it to be a good Twitter handle. That's the first thing I would check. I'd come up with a name and I'd try it on Twitter. And if it was too complicated of a name to put on Twitter, like, I think I wanted to do like Victory Circle or Winner Circle, and I think it was too long. And I was like, no, as much as I kind of liked it at the time, I was like, yeah, that if I can't, if it's like one letter shy and I have to be like, it's Victory Circle, but without the E, like, that's dumb. Just
Victory 0 Circle.
That's true. Or an O, but that's, obviously Wrestling Cheers worked a hell of a lot better in the fact that I found it as at Wrestling Cheers was unavailable at the time. I was like, oh, well then, yeah, this seems to work. Anyway. So introducing this new theme, I really enjoyed it because he's someone who always talks about he has this New York background and he wants it to be shown in his character and everything. And to me, his theme had more of a New York vibe. I don't know if either of you caught anything with it or your thoughts on his new theme.
Let me just start this off by saying I missed this entire match from start to finish. I made the mistake of trying to go inside for a drink at the show.
Sorry.
And once I realized the back bar was open and they had cucumber gin and tonics, that made getting drinks the rest of the show way easier because whatever fucking reason, nobody was bothering with the outside bar. So, yeah, I spent like this whole fucking match inside waiting for a drink.
I debated on doing the outside bar because I owe a couple people some beers, and I went like a natural reaction of going to the inside bar and it was all filled up. The fact that I actually didn't see anybody on the outside bar, I'm like, oh, they must not have a lot right now, or there's something wrong, because that's why everybody's inside. But obviously,
they had a very limited drink selection outside. It was pretty much like cans of beer and then the cucumber gin and tonics, which I am not a PBR drinker, but those G&Ts were fucking lovely, very refreshing on the afternoon. But yeah, so like I said, inside waiting. Made my only mistake of that as far as that's concerned for the day.
What about you, Kayden? Not about drinking, but about PV's.
Drinking's bad.
About PV's music.
I kind of heard this a couple weeks ago because he posted another highlight video, and that was the music over it.
Yeah.
I like this a lot more than his other one, which was quite generic. This one fits him a lot better.
Yeah. I know he used the rapper who known as Montezi. I know he does a couple other like wrestlers themes and wrestling related things, but he's also, I know you can get some of his stuff on iTunes, so that's maybe not as much notoriety now, but the fact that can be something done with him. Like I said, I liked it. I do think it's the best of the three. I know as much as people love his first one. A lot of people love that one. Anyway.
For that time period, yeah, that first theme song fit him when he debuted.
And Joshua Bishop won via Bossman Slam.
It's Black Hole Slam, Bossman Slam. There's some difference. I never remember. He used that move.
Yeah. This was much like the opening match, just a lot of shit going on for this match. I think the one thing that does stand out was the beginning of the match, Derek pulling up a phone, and
I had nothing to do with that phone.
That doesn't sound convincing.
Swear to God. I didn't bring every weapon to WrestleRager.
You sure?
I actually didn't. I didn't bring any guitars.
Other people brought guitars, right? The jobber?
He's gone.
He must be filling up a drink. It's much like last time.
That is not true. Listen, there's plenty. There were way more guitars than I thought they were going to be, but we'll get to that.
Anyway, yeah, Joshua Bishop won via Black Hole Slam. I think I did have this one. I think I did pick Bishop winning. And no, I did have. I had a PB winning. Wrong one. Maybe that was my backup pick. Anyway, then I think was it this time? Oh no, that was after this match. I was like when we went in the second half. We had the Jollyville Fuckets versus the Production, Frankie Flynn and Magnum CK for the AIW Tag Team Championships. This was a fun match. I love seeing the Production in action. Obviously going against the Fuckets too. I think one of the memorable moments of this match was when Magnum about pulled a Jody Fleisch and about fucked up his ankle.
Oh, that was bad.
That
was bad.
Thankfully, I think he was okay. Because, I mean, he was at Old Wrestling the next day. Or someone who looked like him might have been at Old Wrestling that next day. So
different people.
He seems to be fine. But that was a big, big scare. Was there a big pounce in this match?
Yes. T-Money pounced Frankie into the crowd. Well, into the crowd.
Okay, yeah. I was expecting something, I think, in the ring, but how it was done, like, I think that was, like, side of the ring, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's why I didn't like... Maybe I like it better in the ring. Or when it's something like that. My favorite will always be the one with Veda. Only because she's so light that she fucking...
And that was the first one he ever did.
Was that the first one?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, that was...
And it's kind of just been, let's top that one ever since then.
Yeah. Ironically enough, that's my favorite, and that was the first one. But I think there's like a couple people that might be able to top it. I need to see the Weird Body one again. Or I think he might have done it more than once, but that's the...
I'll see if I can go find the video I got of that.
Okay, Kayden, here is your homework assignment during your break. As bad as that means, it sounded like it's a break. But anyway, I want to see the AIW T-Money Pounce highlight reel.
I could probably do that. I'll go find when they started working in AIW up till now.
You're pretty lucky that there's a big chunk where they weren't booked.
Hey, I could still go find the shows easy enough.
Yeah. But, oh my god, that would be great. So...
just put it up on YouTube.
Might be able to give it to Thorne and have him post it on the AIW one.
5 minutes of pounces.
Probably. Anyway, ThriftStoreJobber, do you have any memory of this match?
I mean, I watched it. I remember the CK guardrail incident, and yeah, holy shit, that was super scary. That is one of those things that I watched. I think it was Rhett Titus did that a few years ago in ROH and snapped his leg there.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
And then Jody Fleisch did it, and it's just one of those things that's so scary to watch. So I'm glad he was able to get away from that. Definitely, I expected the outcome to be what it was. I didn't think those guys would be losing their titles anytime soon, but I like both teams a lot, and it was a good match.
You have any thoughts on the match itself, Kayden?
Fun match. As Good said, it was kind of a given. Production wasn't going to lose the belts just yet. It was just fun, bell to bell.
I always like it when any wrestling match makes you second guess yourself. Like, there's no way they're going to win. Then you see something happen, you're like, oh shit.
That did get me a couple times.
Yeah, so there were those moments, but the Magnum CK and Frankie Flynn did retain via elbow drop, which I think...
Magnum elbow.
Or Magnum elbow. I got a video of it, and you could tell he's battling that ankle because he goes up to the top rope very slow. And then...
Yeah, I will say that there was a little part of me that both wanted and maybe thought there would be a slight chance of the Fuckets getting the belts. Now, how long have those guys been wrestling for AEW, and have they ever had the belts? Because I can't remember them having them in the last 3 years, but I don't know if they were around.
2013, they debuted for AEW.
Okay, so that was a few years before.
Won the belts in 2014, 2013.
Yep. So that was a little before my time.
Yeah, they won the first Double Dare tournament.
Okay.
Then they won the belts at Hell on Earth like 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
Useless wrestling knowledge.
No, the finals was against the Submission Squad, because I remember that was my team that I thought was going to win. Like, this is going to be their moment. Submission Squad is finally going to win the title. This is going to be
finals
amazing.
Is not against the Submission Squad.
It wasn't?
It was against #Nixon.
Semifinals then. I know they beat them.
Let me go. Hold on. I'll go pull up the results like I always do.
The sad thing is I have the results page up. It's just going down that far. Yeah, it's...
Swear to God, it was Nixon and Jollyville. Because I remember roasting the cannonball off the top of a ladder for the finish.
Yep, you are correct.
Again, more random things I can just remember.
Then it wasn't the opening round match. Youth in Asia beat the Submission Squad. Still, it was the first round match, but damn, that sucks. That was also the night that Ultraman is Black defeated Ethan Page.
And held the belt for 2 months.
Yeah. Anyway.
Weird little title reign.
Yeah. That's like when we talked about the last episode about, people having it for X amount of time. Like, that was like when some of the title reigns were shorter. Ultraman is Black's was short. Ethan Page's was short. And then after, I think, Page won it back? As I scrolled past out of that area that I was in. Because that was back when Ethan Page was having travel issues. There was a good year that he had to be referred to as
hashtag all ego.
Yeah. And his face wasn't put on any type of promotional material. It was his symbol. So it was a nice little get around.
Then they did it with Alexander for a bit too.
Yeah. Side note,
that's another sad story.
Yeah. Something I'm not really happy about, but yeah. Yeah, Page won it back at Dead Presidents. Anyway, let's move on back to the card. And we did have intermission at this point. And we did have someone come into the ring. And he was wished good luck, best of luck, or whatever.
He was told, get out. Get out and banned from all future shows.
That'd be you.
Hi, that's me.
So
I still can't get in rings properly.
You did better than you did in Mount Carmel back in like 2013.
2013.
Yeah. You're also much lighter, and I could actually lift
you. I try. It's like, nope. There goes my back.
I could lift you over the barricade very easily back then.
Now I'm ready for the Hoss division. Coming for you, Duke.
You might have to get in line behind Jobber.
Someday I'll get my chance.
All right. Well, with that being said, let's since I don't get to do this too often, and I half the time forget to throw it in the show, let's go to this quick commercial break.
What's that? This young man right here, Kayden, what, 2 weeks? 2 weeks? Going to undergo bone marrow transplant. This is going to be his last show for a long ass time. About a year. This guy's been battling for a long time. So right now, WrestleRager 3, all I want from you is a fuck 'em up, Kayden. Fuck 'em up. Can we get that? Fuck 'em up! Fuck 'em up, Kayden! 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 Fuck 'em up! Kayden, come on to you, sir. Kayden! 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 Fight, Kayden, fight! Fight, Kayden, fight! Fight, Kayden, fight! Fight, Kayden, fight! Fight, Kayden, fight!
Center stage, center stage. It's the new race, center stage.
Hi there, I'm Ben Center. I'm the host of the brand new podcast, Center Stage. It's a place where I like to bring people on that have interesting stories that I feel the world needs to hear. I talk to authors, filmmakers, burlesque dancers, wrestlers, and I bring on my friends and we deep dive topics about wrestling. So if you want to listen to the podcast, and I hope you do, it's Center Stage, Center, like my last name, Center Stage. We're on iTunes, Spotify, Spreaker. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's Center Stage NX on Twitter. That's Center Stage NX on both Twitter and Instagram. If you want to follow me, Ben Center, on Twitter, it is Center Club on Twitter. You know what you should do is keep listening to Wrestling Cheers. It's the best podcast about independent wrestling here in Ohio. I want to give a big thanks to all the guys from Wrestling Cheers, especially Justin for this opportunity. Keep listening to Wrestling Cheers. Listen to Wrestling Stage. Center Stage. It's my own podcast. I'm going to leave that in. Listen to Center Stage after you listen to Wrestling Cheers. Let's get back to the show, shall we?
Center stage, center stage.
Are you tired of wrestling podcasts that don't even attend the shows that they are reviewing? Are you tired of the so-called experts saying the same things every week? At the Road Home from Wrestling podcast, we are the friends that you can trust. We will show you the honesty and respect that you deserve. The Road Home from Wrestling podcast is available on Apple Podcasts, Buzzsprout, and wherever fine podcasts are sold. We'll see you on the road home.
That's right, and we are back with the second half. Unfortunately, we don't have a older black canvas or old black tarp on this second half of the show, because that's actually what was part of the second half of WrestleRager 3. There was, for not every match, the first couple, and then I think there was one match that it was taken away, but then actually I think another different one, even more beat up one was brought out. But we had the death match canvas, the old black tarp,
the old duct tape canvas.
I was about to say Turner's Hall era.
It still smells like Turner's Hall.
And
I'm dead serious. It still smells like Turner's Hall whenever they unroll the thing.
And just as dead. Anyway, we started off the second half with fucking Dr. Daniel C. Rockingham, Dr. Deathmatch himself, versus Hornswoggle and
hashtag Deathmatch Dylan.
Yeah, hashtag Deathmatch Dylan. I did forget about that whole thing. And yeah, Dylan, Hornswoggle was the drunken self that you kind of hear on the podcast a little bit. Like, it seemed he'd been drinking a little bit. He was drinking Mad Dog prior to the match. Whether he actually drank that, I'm not 100% sure. But
he absolutely was drinking before the show.
Okay.
I tried to give him some TSJ stickers, but I forgot he has beef with Cena. And once he saw them, he was just like, no, I don't want these.
I forgot that he had beef with Cena. So, yeah, this was, I don't know how to describe it. It's the more of what we always see with Dr. Dan matches, him get the shit beat out of him, getting thrown into Lucky Charms and tacks and all this shit. And yeah, Hornswoggle won via stunner into thumbtacks. Oh, and there's also Lucky Charms in this match.
Just a lot of sharp and, yeah, just stuff. Probably some skewers in there, too.
Yeah, I was about to say skewers because I'm looking at that. One stuck. We did get one to stick, but not too deep. Like he
literally just one skewer. Just right in his head.
Dr. Dan's that hardcore. That's why he's Dr. Deathmatch.
No one tell Masada we did a skewer spot. He'll get mad.
Skewers are a very underrated weapon in my eyes.
When they're done well, they're fantastic.
I don't got anything else to say about this match. Do you guys have any other additional thoughts?
It was fun.
Yep, it did all that I wanted it to do.
All right, next up, we have a match that we were all waiting for. Matthew Justice versus PCO versus Sabu. I enjoyed the second half, and this was one of the reasons why. Just a lot of craziness. I will say, if you listen to the preview show, I said I was really excited. I wanted to, get a picture with PCO. Oh, guess who didn't do any of that shit? Fucking PCO. So
he does not do that. I've noticed this.
I tweeted out that I wanted a picture with him, and I tagged him in it, and he said, "Next time, brother." So I want my goddamn picture with PCO. That's all I want.
Yeah, I don't get that either. Like they could have made so much money doing photo ops, like them and Destro. They could have made fucking $1,000, no problem.
I think it's because of Sabu. Like I'll openly admit I'm not a huge Sabu fan. I wasn't. All right, and I didn't. Get the picture with him because I'm like, yeah, you're okay. You're not high. I don't think
it was because of Sabu. He didn't do it at the last show. I feel like I heard that's something he does at a lot of shows. He's pretty much in and out and just doesn't fucking do too many meet and greets, which is weird because it's like people definitely want to meet him. I met him at the first show and he was cool, but I don't know why he doesn't do that.
Yeah, even the first show I didn't get to meet him at either.
Well, I was at the show. I had a table that night, so I saw him, as I was setting up and just kind of said hello.
And also everything with Shango and Godfather or whatever. Like, I know you got those pictures signed too.
Yeah.
So, kind of a shock. PCO won via Tombstone.
PCO is ready for that absolute title run.
Hot Sauce Tracy Williams versus PCO. Oh, God, I want to see this.
Please.
I forget which
Don't even tease me with that. That'd be really good.
I forget which show it's at, so I apologize. But the match PCO versus Marco Stunt. God damn, that's going to be a fucking brutal match. Like, I love them both.
That's happening?
I swear, or maybe that's...
I feel like I saw that somewhere also.
Maybe that's CCW, where I think that's somewhere in maybe Mississippi, where Marco's from.
I probably shouldn't even say it, but I'm at least not yet. Hasn't sold me yet, so I'll leave it at that.
You kind of broke out there a little bit, and I want to make sure it said like you're not sold on Stunt.
Not sold on him. He's kind of creepy looking, and I get it. I get he's. I'll give this credit to Mike from Virtual Pros. He mentioned this over the weekend where we were watching some shit. His two things in life he could be were to be a wrestler or a jockey. He's got the jockey voice. He's got the jockey size. He's got the jockey look. He looks like he's 11 and he's 22. So I don't know. It's just creepy to me.
I don't know. It's like, what's the difference between that and a midget? Except a midget's a midget.
It's totally different. Like I said, it's I don't know. He just looks too young and too weird to me. But maybe he'll grow on me. I've only seen him twice now.
I started liking him because of Southern Underground Pro, and I think just what they do with him. Though the match that I still want to see with him, which I don't know if anybody will book, him versus Brett Eisen, which I think Kayden will know what I'm talking about with when I talked about Brett Eisen.
If you want death, then yeah, go ahead, book.
Could you imagine Brett Eisen versus Ricky Shane Page? It's kind of a
I
dream.
think we've discussed this before.
Yeah.
And
I don't know.
yeah, that'd be really, really good.
Yeah. Anyway, I was told that we need to not trail off so much. So let's move.
Yeah, stay on topic.
Yeah. Next up was the production Eddie Only and Danhausen versus Eric Ryan and Bobby Beverly, the Young Studs. And this was another match, much like the previous match. The Black Tarp stayed on. And the Young Studs won via Tiger Bomb. This match is what I expected. This was what we seen at Absolution, just amplified a little bit. And especially being in the open environment and everything, it was fucking nuts. I know I really enjoyed this match. What about you guys?
Light tubes happened.
Yeah, I'll back Kayden up on that. I mean, I fucking I love this match from start to finish. I'm a big Young Studs fan, and I think Eddie Only feels like the second coming of Eric Ryan in a sense. Just the opening light tube spot was fucking a perfect way to start this match. So just completely great overall.
Right, let's move on to Wes Barkley versus Eddie Kingston. This match being the semi-main, it got that spot for a couple reasons. Mainly, yeah, you did have the Barkley Nation all throughout the show, or at least maybe not all throughout the show. They started a couple matches, and I'll give them credit. They didn't do it first off. They actually let a couple matches go by, and then
I didn't catch them until the Young Studs match.
I thought they did a little bit in the first half. I can't remember when, but it wasn't nearly as crazy as it normally was. That's why I was actually kind of impressed.
Because it seemed like there was less of them there this time.
But it's hard to tell because normally they're all in a standing room section. Well, the whole show was a standing room section.
I will say, I don't know if she's been to other shows, but I was standing next to his mom and two of his mom's friends, who were some lovely middle-aged women that were fun to watch a wrestling match with. And Mom was having a good time. She got it way more than the rest of the Barkley Nation got it. She definitely was concerned a little bit a couple times, seeing if he was getting hurt. But the Eddie shit talking, she definitely was laughing the whole time. So it was a treat to be a part of that.
Yeah, so much to dissect with all this of Eddie being normal Eddie self, talks a whole lot of shit. Yeah, the Barkley
Nation, Eddie Kingston.
Yeah, you had Barkley Nation, going crazy, and even post match, because we all know Eddie Kingston won. He won via back fist. Wes Barkley did not go down easy, but he did obviously finally go down after the back fist, and yeah, it wasn't over. Goddamn. You had Eddie Kingston just not necessarily egging them on, but, right after the win, just kept staring at them all. And then ends up grabbing the microphone, talks a little bit more shit. Kind of goes to start giving Wes some respect. And a couple of his friends start talking like hardcore shit, start throwing shit, even start throwing beer. Like shit was starting to go down. You had a couple wrestlers come down from the commentary, that whole balcony, and help create some distance. It got, no pun intended, it got a little intense.
I feel like this is almost expected in this match.
Yeah, it was expected. Maybe I didn't expect them to go that far, but
I did.
All right, to me, there's two ways to look at this. One, as regulars who go to a lot of wrestling shows, and we know how this shit's supposed to work. It's kind of annoying because it disrupts the show in a sense. But on the other hand, in an old school, Southern fucking Memphis Heat wrestling type of way, it's also super entertaining to see fans who think it's real and don't get it react like that. And they're going to be the exceptions. Well, it's not like it's going to be, like I said, Memphis in 1983, where, you get people trying to throw rocks and stab wrestlers. There's only going to be a couple people in the crowd that are going to have that reaction. And every one of us, both, fans and wrestlers, are going to, get in the way of anything But it definitely was super funny, and to finally see that line get crossed, I don't know what'll happen in the future with that audience, but I don't care personally at this point. I get the whole argument about having them there and not being a fan of them, but again, they bring money to the shows, which as fans will help us get better shows if more people are showing up.
Sell out the queue.
Yeah, exactly. So the more money comes in, the better people get booked and cooler shit happens. So we just might have to deal with some chaos once in a while, but I thought it was great. I think just it was another crazy moment that happened in a show full of moments like that, and nothing too bad happened. It was just a brief little dust up, and we moved on to the main event. But I thought it was great.
I'm somewhat happy that this type of thing did happen because
it added to the show in a way.
It did, and Eddie getting fucking heated. Because you're like, oh my god, this is gonna happen. He's gonna kick somebody's ass. But I know how a lot of fans feel about Barkley Nation. Something that's been probably talked about to death. But if they're going to get themselves into this situation, let them. If you don't want them to show up, that's how they either fix themselves or they stop coming. So we'll see what happens with his fans. But hey, I mean, let's not be the ones to shoo them away. But I don't know. When they start chanting, "We want Wes," I go into it too. I have fun with it. I don't give a damn.
The last time they were good with it, it wasn't the entire show, and they didn't boo stuff.
Yeah,
they were just there.
And this was the only match in the second half. That old black nasty tarp was taken off.
I can see why.
Yeah.
Wes isn't getting hit with any light tubes. Kingston doesn't do deathmatch stuff anymore.
So that was the thing. I did enjoy this match, and it was kind of how we predicted it. That
this was very good.
It was.
I give Wes a lot of credit.
It was Wes Barkley's coming out party. It was him being taken to the limit. Maybe not winning, but put up a fucking fight against one of the meanest motherfuckers in AIW. Not
in wrestling, not just in AIW.
Not named Nick Gage.
All right, Wes versus Nick Gage next.
Oh, God.
I do not wish death on Wes at all. It'd just be interesting.
The Barkley Nation versus Nick Gage.
Bingo.
Hey, I mean, he doesn't have that belt anymore, and he is apparently booked for the next show, so that could be a fun match.
Oh, God.
So we'll wait for the crowd interaction.
All right.
MDK, motherfuckers.
Right now, let's get into the main event. Lot to discuss here.
Party.
Jock Sampson, Mance Warner, Parker Pierce, Big Twan Tucker versus Worldwide, Weird Body, Philly Collins, and Marino Tenaglia. And, this is how we perceived it to be. It was going to be a 4-on-4 match. On the previous show, we talked about, could it be a 5-on-5? Well, the Duke comes out and says, Steve Guy was wrong when he announced it. It's not going to be a 4-on-4 match. He is going to be fighting with his boys, so that will make it a 5-on-4. And it was at this point I thought we would see ThriftStoreJobber come out and join the team. But unfortunately, no, that was not the case. We did start the match with a 5-on-4 match. So you had the Duke in with all that against the Weird World Experience. Now that is what WWE stands for. Another little side note we have to mention, Hornswoggle attacked Potato before the match, and per AIW management, Swoggle then became one of the refs, because we had almost all the refs out for this particular match.
I mean, yeah, in a match like this, you need every ref.
If you were to see the videos that we had on Instagram, there was a lot, because I was right in by where Swoggle was standing most of the match, and his reactions were fucking great, because he does not like that shit.
Did anyone else catch Potato's sketchy fucking tattoos? I did not picture that. That was amazing. I know I got some photos of it, and I just haven't gone through the 5,000 photos I took over the weekend, so that'll be on Instagram sometime this week.
Well, I think he's added some, but what you could do is go back to the last Nightmare Before Christmas AIW had. It was in 2011. Him versus Gargano, and he's
best AIW match ever.
He's, in regular Speedo wrestling tights, and his whole body is out and all those. I think he's added tattoos since then, so that's what's even worse. But yeah, because it wasn't just that Hornswoggle, attacked Potato to become the one of the refs. He took Potato's ref shirt off, and he wore it, which oddly enough he seemed to fit it fairly well. But anyway, this we'll go into describing the match shortly, but halfway through the match, all of a sudden we hear 99 Problems come on, and for those who don't know, that is the official theme music of John Thorne, and he entered himself into the match as the fifth man. What a fucking match this. Kayden, your thoughts?
It was a big death match party. It was quite enjoyable. Minus not knowing where to look at times.
Yeah.
A whole bunch going on.
We got some great spots with Twan. One of him pouncing Marino.
Not pouncing, spearing.
Oh, spearing? Yeah.
It was more like just a running spine buster, essentially.
Yeah, because that's what I was thinking, because he kind of had him up in the air, so that's what I think, like a pounce where you're kind of flying that way. But yeah, spear through a table.
Not even through it, just kind of against it. Chin break.
Then you had Thorne, I forget taking what weapon to Twan's face.
Fork.
Got
a picture of it.
And you got fucking classic Big Twan facial reactions. I wouldn't be surprised if someone turns that into a sticker in the very near future.
I get royalties.
It's probably going to be a free sticker. Jobber, what were your thoughts on this match?
Where do I begin?
Mayhem.
I guess to sum it up, this match had everything I wanted in an AIW death match. When I saw this was announced as the main event, I knew it was going to be fucking special and chaotic, and it had everything. Obviously, seeing the Duke get his comeuppance with a guitar with my name on it was just, I don't know. To me, that's it. It ended the storyline with me and the Duke for the time being. I absolutely love that. Let me also give credit. I walked in with the guitar, but all the credit for actually creating it goes to all of my friends, Josh and Joe from New York. Joe apparently had that guitar hanging in a tree for months, which is why it was kind of warped a little bit, which, softened it up for Duke a little bit. So, you're welcome for that, Duke. But they drove it out from New York, and Josh had the idea to write "This Machine Kills Dukes" on it, which somebody else actually wrote what that was originally derived from. Woody Guthrie, guitar from fucking 50s, I guess. This machine kills fascists. So there was two of those guitars in the match. My girlfriend did the artwork and added the TSJ logo on the guitar. Which now I have the shards of that guitar hanging on my wall next to my Filthy Tom and Dom gear from the last show. But yeah, the sequence with Mance and was it Thorne he was stapling that whole sequence?
Yes.
Okay, that I absolutely loved. I mean, I'm sure we've all seen the photos by now. Mance just looked like an absolute fucking maniac.
Because he is.
Yes, of course, but I mean, holy shit, he just looked perfect. Like, he could not have fit better in this match overall. I loved every fucking second of it, and I'm so happy we got to see it. There was even some rogue fireworks at the end in celebration, which really just capped off a perfect afternoon.
It was very appropriate that this is where, Weird World and PME got their victory over, the Duke and his associates. This was the home field advantage for them, and this was where everybody goes home happy. That's how I felt going in, and the fact that it actually happened. And there were moments where I was wondering, how are we going to do this? Will, is there going to be a fifth man? Then we did get Thorne, and just this is what helped in my mind put WrestleRager 3 over WrestleRager 2. It's no knock towards WrestleRager 2. I loved WrestleRager 2. I had fun at WrestleRager 2. But the ending was just fuck ton of madness. And was perfect.
Every year WrestleRager needs to end with some sort of insane death match, though. It's my only request.
Well, you got to look at the fact that last year was the first time they tried this at Class, and, it was a test. And then, not to mention the fact that, last year was a pretty tough year for the company overall, whereas 2018, company's been kind of on a roll for the most part, and since last year was such a big success, it made complete sense to put, give the show a little more time and put more effort into the booking and all that. And I think capping it off with this match where, you saw the guys that have been around, a lot the last year and a half or so, just really put on an absolute amazing show and do some just crazy stuff and, get the spotlight was just perfect.
I think it's crazy to think about this. In September of 2014, AIW did the original WrestleRager, which was supposed to be a 3-day show for Grado coming to America. That all gets fucked over, and then we end up getting this original 3-day event. One of the original things that came out of it, I think that was Candice LeRae's first booking at AIW, and I think that was part of the beginning of the relationship between her and Johnny. So that was like a really cool thing that came out of that whole weekend. And then it goes away for a couple years, and it gets revived last year. And I miss that original 3 shows. That's one of the very few shows I've had to miss that whole fucking weekend.
It was long.
Yeah, everybody that's when I kind of heard, like, by Sunday, everybody was kind of like, I'm really tired of this. This is a lot.
It's a fun weekend, but it was a long weekend.
So after all of that, I feel like the whole thing with Now That's Class, that's like the proper WrestleRager. I almost wish last year's wasn't called WrestleRager 2. I wish it was called like WrestleRager 1, the do-over. Because that feels more WrestleRager than anything. And I really hope this is another staple in AIW's calendar. There's certain shows we get every year. We get the Hell on Earth. We get the Gauntlet for the Gold. We get
Abso J-Lit.
Yeah, Abso and J-Lit. Let's add this. I think it comes at a perfect time. After we come out of Absolution, there's a lot of stuff that's already been wrapped up. This is a chance to wrap up other aspects of the card and just to part of starting fresh. And it's a show that it's going to have its own environment. It's going to have its own fun. You don't have to book many big names. I thoroughly enjoyed both of them. And like I said, I like WrestleRager 3 over 2, but nowhere near a knock towards 2. What were your thoughts on WrestleRager 3 as a whole, Kayden?
Like, obviously you're saying last year was a good one. This year seemed to have the better all-around card. And top to bottom, I don't really think there was a bad match. I very, very much enjoyed this. It had a little bit of everything on the show. It's also a good introduction show to anyone who might not have been to an AIW event before.
How about you, Jobber?
No, it's hard to say this was the best show of the year because there's been so many good AIW shows this year. AIW is really hitting a stride as far as, characters they've kind of built from within, while still doing some, interesting bookings with, bigger name guys. This show, to me, there's no point even comparing this to last year. This was just a progression. Like I said, last year was kind of a test, and this year was just more streamlined, and, there was more put into it, and it paid off. And, absolutely loved it. We lucked out with the weather. Weather was a little bit iffy heading up to the show, but the day was just absolutely, couldn't ask for a better day weather-wise.
No.
And everybody just had a great time, and there's something for everybody. And but again, nobody really got hurt majorly. A few staples or stitches here and there, but other than that, I know everybody seemed to survive it. yeah, just great effort overall from everyone that was there, and it was just a great time.
What would you both rate this out of? Let's do letter. I think we do letter grades for this stuff. Start with you, Kayden.
That's kind of a difficult one because this already just going into this, I was saying this is probably my favorite show. Just looking forward to it. I'll give it a B because I can't give it an A+. It was definitely not a perfect show, but it was very, very, very good.
How about you, Jobber?
I'm going full. I mean, I guess the only thing that it was missing, and to me, I wouldn't even say it's so much missing it, but there wasn't a ton of super technical wrestling on the show. But to me, who cares? This wasn't what the show was about. The show was supposed to be fun, and that's exactly what it was. I think it fit the environment perfectly, and again went up without a hitch. And it's one of those things that you want it to happen, but it shouldn't happen more often because it'll lose it if you're doing it every couple months. And once a year is perfect. And no, full on A. Couldn't ask for anything more.
I think if I were to give it a rating, I'd go B+, A-. Nowhere near knock on the show. I think a show like Absolution, in a way how that was pulled off and all the storylines going into it and everything coming out, that's the reason why that gets an A+. Nowhere, like I said, nowhere near a knock on the show. I think it is the perfect way to come out of Absolution. I think last year I was actually looking at the cards and everything from last year, and the Glacier show was a week before. So the fact that we didn't have two shows kind of stacked on top of each other was good, and it gave this one a little bit more breathing room. And that's what like I said, I think that's what also made it a little bit more exciting. Nowhere near a knock again on last year. So, and I think everybody who I spoke with, and I mentioned, like, I think this was better than last year. They all agreed, and everybody said that 2 was good too. But this was just, for whatever reason, I think everybody had their own reason. I think for me, it was that main event. I think I do agree with you, Jobber, with how, if this was a little bit more neater when it came to the card and knowing what to expect from it. But that the main event was just a bloodbath and a fucking, all the light tubes and everything. Like, it's like when you go watch fireworks, that grand finale that you see, that was the main event of just all the shit that they fucking did. It was like I said, perfect ending for the show. All right. Any final thoughts or last minute plugs before we go, Kayden?
It's just the usual. It's at KVR216 on all social media. I gift stuff. I do the cool gift. That's about it. I don't have many plugs. I'm sorry. I'm not cool.
I mean, if you want to, people can go back and listen to the interviews that you did with female wrestlers, and there's also the interview that I did with you. Just the other little minor plugs. I know you're going to have a lot of time coming up too.
I still want to try to get more interviews, even while I'm going to be in Bethesda. I will have my Mac with me. I will not have my professional mic, sadly. So it's going to sound a little different, but I'm still going to try to set up some stuff.
Always appreciate.
Tell me.
Always appreciated. And we're here.
I have my ways of getting interviews.
People love you. That's probably why.
Because I do gifts. The only reason.
Yeah, probably. Oh, you want to do me a favor, Kayden? I almost wanted to mention this to you over the weekend, but I'm like, no, that'll seem too persistent on my part. Trying to get an interview with Harlow O'Hara. She won't respond.
I'll see what I can do.
She won't respond to an email or a DM.
I'll see what I can do.
Okay. So, how about you, Jobber?
I've got a bunch of stuff here. So, Instagram and eBay and Etsy, all at ThriftStoreJobber. I'm actually going to be doing a big Labor Day sale this weekend on my Etsy page. I've got over 300 different items right now, wrestling and non-wrestling stuff. It'll all be 25% off. Twitter is at TSJobber. Just got some new stickers out that feature John Cena and a gentleman in a very precarious situation. I'll leave that. But if you've seen the HBO mockumentary Tour de Pharmacy, I'm willing to bet you know what I'm talking about right now. I will be at the November 3rd show with a full table set up and hopefully at least one new shirt coming out. Thanks again, Justin, for having me on the show. It was great seeing you and hanging out and being on the show again. And, Kayden, best luck with the surgery. We'll be keeping your seat warm for you and, feel better.
And shout out to Mike from Virtual Pros. It was cool meeting him. Oddly enough, I figured out who he was by listening to his voice. I just wanted to make sure and clear with you. I'm like, is that who it is?
He has a very distinctive voice.
Yeah, I think because the 2 days prior, I was listening to the episode and I heard the voice. And then I hear in my ear, because he was standing really, not next to me, but a little bit behind me. And I was like, that's Mike's voice. I'm pretty sure that's Mike's voice. And not to mention you were in the area too. I have this thing. I don't like to look like an idiot. So I never want to say hey, are you so-and-so? And be wrong. Or just be like, hey, so-and-so. They're like, no, that's not me. Okay.
I mean, it's always a little bit awkward just meeting meeting someone in real life you only know from the internet. So I totally get that. But, whatever. Mike comes out a few times a year and, I'm sure you'll see him again. So he's been to enough of these things and he's met a bunch of AW guys before. And
there were people wearing Virtual Pro shirts. So that was kind of cool. I understand how cool that is. See your shirt out somewhere, you might not be expecting it.
I mean, he's used to it. He's a millionaire podcaster. He's rich from this shit. So, it's all passe to him.
Yeah. And of course, you can find myself at Heavyset330 on all your social media. You can find this show at Wrestling Cheers on all your social media, Facebook.com/Wrestling Cheers, Twitter.com/Wrestling Cheers, and Instagram.com/Wrestling Cheers. Email if you so choose desire, WrestlingCheers@gmail.com. Please rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Podbean, WrestlingCheers.podbean.com. We got a merch store over at whatamaneuver.net, and I already previously mentioned in the show, go on over to Apple Podcasts, give us a review, send us a screenshot, send us a screenshot so we know it's you, or go to our Facebook, give us a review, and either one of those will get you into our mystery contest, and you could possibly win our prize, which that ends at midnight on Friday night. So August 31st going into September 1st, that is the deadline. And then some point on Saturday, I'm going to do the drawing. I might do it live on Facebook. I might do it live on Instagram. Something. It's going to be done. So to be fair. But anyway, we'll announce the prize. Actually, that'll go up probably at midnight. I'm going to announce what the prize is. And if you haven't got in a review, you might feel dumb. So, yeah. Anyway, check out some of the shows on the Trending Topics Network, such as All Beer Inside, Eurovision Showcase, Old School at the Movies, and Anything Goes. Check out our other podcasting friends like Pod Van Dam, Adults, Benefits of Podcasting, Center Stage, SENTER Stage, Super Fantastic Podcast, The Road Home from Wrestling, Kick Out at 2, and the IndieCast. And then we have our other non-podcasting friends, such as ThriftStoreJobber. Hey, I know him. Rebel Life Media, The Savage Stash, Set Tab Photo, Ringside Shots Photography, NEO Sports Insiders, Sickening Pictures, and the official graphic designer of Wrestling Cheers, Moy Boy Designs. That will do it for us here on Wrestling Cheers, where everybody knows your name, especially if you only have, well, not only, especially if you have 0 nuggets. Later.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot.